I'm speaking to you today about a spiritual awakening. I'd like to speak to you about three aspects of it. Firstly, what is a spiritual awakening? How do you know if you're going through something like that? And the signs and what you can do about it, how you can help yourself when you're going through this, what can seem like a very turbulent time in your life. So a spiritual awakening is when an individual will for whatever reason, begin to awaken their subtle senses and of intuition, of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. So that's clairvoyance, clairseeing, clairaudience, hearing and speaking, and clairsentience is feeling. But it's also opening and activating the energy in the base of the spine, which is known as the Kundalini energy. And this energy very naturally in an individual, as they start to develop and to grow, very naturally starts to rise at its own natural pace. And there isn't anything we need to do to force this to open or to encourage it to move faster. Just let it be and let it happen. Now, a spiritual awakening, I've been having some thought about this, and why is it that individuals go through this very challenging time in their lives when they start to embark, when we first start to embark upon a spiritual path. We go into that area of firstly developing our inner selves, and what that does is it brings up a lot of healing. It brings up a lot of things that we've buried within us very deeply, and they start to come to the surface so that we can acknowledge them, reflect upon them, and release them and heal them and let them go. And this is a part of the spiritual awakening. So things that you've been perhaps suppressing or not wanted to face because they're too painful may start to come into your conscious mind. They start to present themselves, and you're wondering, why do I get all these things from the past coming up? Why am I having to look at this? It's so painful. Everything's changing. I don't like this. The ground beneath us can start to feel really shaky. We're going into territory that we don't know, that is unusual for us. So what happens here is the individual begins to awaken all their psychic senses. Now, when we do that, we are going into, I like to compare it to when you go to the gym. When you first start going to the gym, your muscles really hurt, they ache. You don't see any benefit. You don't see any changes straight away. You've got to keep working at it. And eventually the ache goes, and then the definition starts to come. You start to see results. You start to see changes in your physical body, how that's feeling. It's feeling stronger, how it's looking. It's looking better. It's looking more defined. And this is all very similar to when you're going through a spiritual awakening. You are awakening senses that you perhaps haven't ever used before, or have been lying dormant within you for some time, and that it can feel uncomfortable. And what also starts to happen is we start to see life very differently. We see people very differently because we are becoming more sensitive to the more subtle energies in the universe. As there's more subtle energies of spirit, of our own spirit, we start to see spirit within others, and we start to see people for how they really are. We start to see the truth that perhaps we've been in delusion for so long about, because we haven't had that spiritual eye opened. We haven't had those senses, awareness that opened and activated and working so strongly for us. So we start to see life. We start to see the truth in life. And that can be a little bit painful, because for some of us, for most of us, we've been conditioned through life. We go to school, we're conditioned with the teachers, with our parents, with life. We go to work, we're conditioned with that expectation. And all of a sudden, you start to spiritually awaken from that 3D reality that no longer has the same appeal to you that it had previously. And once you've seen something, you can't unsee it. So this is what people go through. This is when it first starts to happen. You're going to feel hypersensitive. You're going to feel very emotional. There's going to be things that are coming up for you. Allow that to happen. Don't suppress it anymore. when you suppress things, they fester within you. So let it come out. Journal about it, write about it, process it, walk in nature, ask for help, release it, accept it, and heal. And that's the first step, really, in your spiritual awakening. I always say ground yourself a lot, ground through the soles of your feet. Allow yourself to be in solitude if that is what you are feeling. If you go with what feels right for you, if you are feeling that you need to be alone, be alone. Don't worry about it, because that is part of your journey. That is part of your development. So you start to awaken. You start to see life as it really is. You start to see people as it really is. The 3D reality starts to take on a different form. Nothing looks the same. Nothing. It's like your whole world, what's changed? Your world hasn't changed. People haven't changed. But you are changing. You are seeing the truth. You are seeing through the illusion. And this is fundamental to your spiritual awakening, to have that awareness of that. Then the next stage is that you go, once you start to awaken, then your old self starts to fall away. You can't hold on. It's like holding on to water in your hands. It's impossible. So it starts to fall away. It's almost like a spiritual death. And then you're in an area that we call no man's land. So this is where the new you hasn't yet manifested. The new you hasn't yet come into being. You haven't become that new version of yourself yet, but you're stuck in this space where all is strange, all is unknown. You don't know yourself. You feel you don't know people around you. You feel you don't understand life as you did, because you are going through a spiritual awakening, a spiritual death. And you're in that area that is very, very unfamiliar. And you feel lost because you just don't know what is the next step. But when you're in that space, what I would recommend is to be very gentle with yourself, to be in the stillness, to meditate, to go within yourself. Allow this awakening to take the route and the flow that it needs to take you to your next step. And you will come into that next step. So walk in nature, exercise, breathe, nice deep breathing, eat really good food, really honour your body, look after yourself, and honour the changes that are going on within you. You know, life never stays the same. We are in a constant flux of change in our lives. You know, when you look at yourself as a baby, then you went into your toddler years, then you went into your adolescent years, and then you went into your adult years. And now you might be in your adult years, and then you're going through this spiritual awakening. But it's an amazing opportunity for you to grow as an individual, to see what is the truth of what is really happening in your life. And you will find that your vibrational frequency will change. Now, this is really vital for you to understand this, because as you start to raise the vibrational frequency of your own being, what happens is you may find that you are not a match anymore for certain people who are vibrating at a different frequency. Now, it doesn't mean theirs is bad or not good. It just means it's different. Now, if they are vibrating at a different frequency, you cannot match. So what happens? They fall away. It isn't anything you've done. It's just a natural process of life. And then what happens is all the new is waiting there. So you're in this no man's land, and all the new is just waiting to come in. It's waiting to manifest, for you to embody it, to be that new you, to bring in new people, new situations, new opportunities, new places. You're going into a new life. How wonderful is that? But just to be aware that you cannot do that, you cannot have that new life until the time is exactly right, until you have gone through the vibrational frequency rise, the adjustments that have needed to be made to your own being, to your psychic senses, to your inner spirit, because the frequency for the new being, for the new you, isn't yet there. You're not there. It's up here, but you're not quite there to match it yet. And if it was, it wouldn't work. You see? So you've got to, that your frequency has to rise and rise and rise, and all the changes have to come in. And then when you're exactly ready, that new you will be rebirthed. And it will be amazing and beautiful and joyous, and you will find happiness and peace that you've never known before. So you see, it's so worth the journey. It's so worth, I always say, everything that's worth having, you have to pay a price for it first. There's always some sacrifice that happens prior to receiving the beautiful gifts of the Great Spirit of life. And to receive those, you've got to be at that right vibrational frequency. So this is why we can never, ever hurry our spiritual development. When we become impatient, we are trying to hurry a natural and organic process that cannot be hurried. And that's where we fall flat in our face. So we have to wait. We have to learn to cultivate patience. We have to learn to love ourselves, to love others, to be kind, to be courteous, to be considerate, to become spiritual, to become spiritualized in mind, body and spirit, in all aspects, on all levels. It's quite a thing. It really is. And it's very, I would consider to be magical and beautiful. Because when you do embody that new frequency of the new you, you will radiate. You will radiate joy. You will radiate happiness. You will radiate that new frequency. And what happens then? You start to radiate. You start to attract. You're like a beautiful magnet. And you're attracting all the lovely opportunities that are right for you at that time in your life. And you can never attract them before because your magnetism isn't correct. Your frequency won't be correct. Everything in life is about vibration and frequency. There's nothing that doesn't vibrate and that doesn't have some kind of frequency. And you are a living, walking human being. And you are vibrating. And you have a frequency around you, within you. And everything has to match. So that new you is there waiting in the wings. It just hasn't manifested yet. Please don't try to rush it. Take your time. As uncomfortable as it may seem or it may feel, you will reap the benefits if you can just hone in, do the things that I've recommended, walk in nature, be still, be quiet, go within, meditate, speak to this Great Spirit or God or Krishna or Buddha, whoever you want to speak to, your guides, your helpers, ask them for help. Show me what I need to do. Read, learn a lot. Develop yourself. If you feel that you want to move away from the world and from people, do it. Don't be afraid to do that and to go into the silence and to go into solitude. Solitude is giving you a very strong backbone, if you like, to your own self, to your own development, to make you stronger. You don't need to be attached to all the external paraphernalia that goes on out there, all the things that go on. You don't need to have that recognition anymore. You can go within, you can be quiet. So embrace those moments, and the time will come when you have reached that frequency, you have embodied that new you, and then you can step into who you really are and allow that beautiful version of you to flourish and to grow into what is exactly right for you at that time. So please don't see spiritual awakening as a negative. It is a hugely positive sign that you are indeed going through a huge transformation in a beautiful way. And if only you could see the end result, then you would never give up. So I leave that with you, and enjoy your journey that you're on, because it really is very unique and very special for you.